25 years ago, Tillman Prosk wanted to ensure that Kenyans are never late for their appointments and wanted to erect city clocks around the country and make revenue by letting companies advertise on the clock. So he approached the city council, but many thought his business model would not work.
I have lived most of the time or the better part of my life in Kenya, and I started with this business, as I said, 25 years ago. And a lot of people thought it would never work, but I think we have proven them that it works. But it's involving hard entrepreneurship. You have to be on top of it all the time.
Tillman soon found out that doing business without a godfather at the time was almost impossible.
With great difficulties with our special friends in the city hall, who would not believe that it would be a model which would work. But I think after so many years we have proven them wrong, because we are now in Nairobi at each and every corner.
Despite the obstacles, Tillman decided to start small and let the business build itself, and soon found out that finance was one of his biggest challenges.
We do provide a service which allows them not to wear their expensive wristwatch or to dig in their handbag for their mobile, and they can look at a clock which is functioning. We did that starting in Nairobi, as I said, and then we expanded to go out of Nairobi to other towns.
And as the business was building up, so was outdoor business. 71% of today's Kenya's population is under the age of 32. Without question, most of Kenyans are young. Inevitably, they spend over 75% of their time outdoor, either making a living or going to school while moving around, giving outdoor media great advantages over other media.
The client comes to us and says, like we had one installation done along Limuru Road, because the client happened to be a bank, had their office in that particular building, and they said it would be good that our clients not only see it as an advertising sign but also as a directional finder. Then we have to go to the city hall and get the permission, which is sometimes a bit difficult and bureaucracy is a bit long, but people know us and people know that we give a service which we maintain.
25 years later, the company has more than 80 clocks in Nairobi and have expanded to the rest of the country.
You go to Kisumu with a clock tower, those are things we have done. We don't get any money from the council. They take our money, but we never get money back. Eldoret, you go to the town hall. The town hall clock was done by us. Why? Because the clock there stopped. Would we get any money from the town hall in Eldoret? We won't. So it's reinvestment, it's goodwill, it's swim along, but also build the reputation, build the brand and expand.
He says reputation has built his brand and has a team around the clock ensuring all clocks are working and customers get value for their money. At the moment, outdoor advertisers have been criticized for causing eyesores in the country, a challenge he says the industry will tackle without hurting their profit margins.
Nowadays it is so incredibly overrun that the market becomes more and more competitive. We have the issue of having the clock as a service, so it's a public vehicle which for the advertiser has the advantage that he pays something back to the consumer by giving them a working clock which then can be looked at 24 hours.
If there is one thing you can learn from the man who has time in his hand, is between you and every goal that you wish to achieve, there is a series of obstacles, and the bigger the goal, the bigger the obstacles. Your decision to be, have and do something out of the ordinary entails facing difficulties and challenges that are out of the ordinary as well. Sometimes your greatest asset is simply your ability to stay with it longer than anyone else.
On tonight's market report, inflation increased just shy of 3 basis points. The rates on both the 91-day and 182-day Treasury bills have increased, and we're still waiting for the latest economic growth figures for the year 2010 and first quarter of 2011. Well, inflation is at 9.19%. Economic growth for the third quarter of 2010 was 6.54%, and the 364-day bill stands at 3.99% since the last auction on the 7th of March. The 91-day Treasury bill rate is attracting interest at 3.15%. The 182-day bill followed the upward trend, moving from 3.27% to 3.44% at the last auction, and the average bank lending, deposit and savings rates are as shown. 16 stocks are trading with dividends. Yields range from 1% at Athi River Mining to 5.8% at BOC Kenya. Limuru Tea, Kenol Kobil, Housing Finance and the Standard Group are yet to announce payment dates, and the date for the closing of books for the Standard Group is also yet to be announced. The other 10 stocks are Carbacid Investments, KCB, Pan-Africa Insurance Holdings, who have also announced a bonus ratio of 1-for-1 and books close on the 17th of May. CFC Stanbic Holdings, Diamond Trust Bank, who announced a bonus ratio of 1-for-5 with books closing on the 20th of May. Athi River Mining, Jubilee Holdings, who announced a bonus ratio of 1-for-10 last week and books close on the 26th of May, and Kakuzi, TPS Eastern Africa, Cooperative Bank and Total Kenya. And one of the questions sent last week is this from Mr. Hodari in Nairobi, who wanted an answer from KCB in particular. He says, "Hello SNL, I've been banking with KCB for 6 years. I have a plot in Rwanda and would like to put up apartments. Is it possible for a loan and for KCB Kenya to be my referee? I'm self-employed and have no account in Rwanda." We put the question to George Laboso, who's a sales and marketing manager at KCB.
Thank you, Michael, for that question. What Mr. Dwale needs to do is that he needs to come to us where we look at his application, and then we'll be able to give a referral to our KCB Rwanda to process his mortgage. The beauty of being a regional bank is that we are now able to process loans for Rwandese who are in Kenya or Ugandans or Tanzanians, etc. We will process the loans from here and we refer them to their mother countries where KCB is operating from. Thank you, Michael.
Well, do you have a question that you'd like an expert to respond to on air, or a comment about the show? Send it to KTN Business Weekly at standardmedia.co.ke or by text to 8040 beginning with the words Business Weekly. That's all we have for you on this edition of KTN Business Weekly. Please do let us know your thoughts and do send that question for the expert via email, ktnbizweekly@standardmedia.co.ke, or send a text message to 8040 beginning with the words Business Weekly. Well, from the entire KTN Business Weekly team, it's good night until next week's edition of KTN Business Weekly. I'm Michael Oyer.